Greetings, everyone. So tonight I'm going to talk about narcissistic collecting. Narcissists are always collecting. And each individual narcissist is different. So just like any other human, they have their likes, their dislikes, what they get narcissistic supply from. Different narcissists use different tactics. Different narcissists come across in different ways, just like anyone. At the end of the day, they are always collecting. They are collecting people who can do something for them. They are collecting people who have some type of a use. And of course, that goes along with narcissistic supply. Narcissists are always collecting. And if you've ever been around a narcissist, you will see when they meet a new person, they are scanning the room. They're scanning the person, the new person they just met, and their brain is working like a calculator. Well, maybe calculator is not a computer. Their brain is working like a computer, which is similar anyways, to collect data for what uses that person will have for them and to them. So, let's say you're a student at the university and you meet a person, let's say you're in your early 30s, you're a woman, and you meet this other lady who's taking classes at the university, and she's married with a small child at home, and she's a narcissist. The minute she meets you, she's scoping out to see if you would be a good babysitter for her. They're always on the hunt, on the prowl. Actually, I've noticed different narcissists that kind of they act like that. Like an animal on the prowl, like the hunt. They're going for the hunt. I had interactions and relationships with narcissists in the past that liked to party. And, I was young. I wanted to party and have a good time. And this narcissist I was with, we'd always dress to the nines, and we looked very, very pretty, if I might say. And I liked to dance. And this narcissist always had to move from one club to the other club. Like, we'd only be there for like 10 minutes. And I was really getting mad. I didn't understand what was going on. Well, in that case, it's for narcissistic supply, but also collecting data. Who is, is she going to see any of her friends at this club? Is she going to find a new boyfriend at that other club? Or is she going to find a lover because she already has a boyfriend at this other club? You know, it's really exhausting to be around them, honestly. Because in some ways you sort of have to get in their mind if you want to cope in any kind of way. If you want to have any type of a life, you know, any type of peace, you sort of have to learn how their mind works, which will really exhaust you and make you deplete your energy. So, collections. I've never really looked into it, but I'm sure there are narcissists that collect, certain things. Because clearly not everyone who's collecting items like maybe stamps or figurines are narcissists. But they also do use their objects or their clutter as narcissistic supply. They're always collecting. I remember one narcissist that I was, same thing. We were hanging out in the clubs and stuff back in the day. And she was like, when I tell you, she absolutely had to be the center of attention and collecting phone numbers. Sure, you're out there having a good time, but it was like really extreme. I never really understood it. Because, I'm not a bad-looking woman, and especially when I was younger, I was kind of a hot thing. And it'll all, like, if you're more of an empath, kind-hearted soul, when you're around these kinds of folks, you're gonna feel like off-put, like what is, like the Keith Sweat song, something, 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 something just ain't right. You will feel like that when you're around these people. Trying to think of an example. They you know what, I could say they definitely, I've talked about it before, they definitely collect information. So let's say they just got hired at a new job. So they're scoping out the scene, getting comfortable in their new job right away because they're very money driven, like monetary. They want to know who is making how much money, how long they've been in their job, how they get their job, etc. Because immediately they're playing chess. They want to make a plan so they can move up the ladder or, bump out someone else from the management job, whatever it is. To me, when I witness these things, it feels really weird because they're collecting. They want to know. They want to find out, like, almost too much information on a first meeting or, very, like, that they just have met this person and they want to know and they want to know. They want to know all these things. And the reason for that is what can they get from that person? I remember years ago when I was on the dating scene, which I'm back on the dating scene again, I met this guy and he like really went over the top about, do you cook? And I was like, dude, like I was thinking in my mind, like, dude, I just met you. And we didn't connect at all. And back then I surely knew zero about narcissism or, manipulative type people. But something like my alarm bells were going off. And the reason for that is he was just seeing me as like some kind of a kitchen slave that could just cook for him all the time. I have no problem with women cooking for their man. I've cooked for my man, when I did have one. But it's more like subservient type feeling, in that situation. So I've witnessed a few narcissists. They actually collect people, in my opinion. So they'll throw a party, and then they'll call all their friends and their family members, and each person that they call, they have a use for them. I remember experiencing this with one of the narcissists that I knew. And, it made me feel weird. But sometimes when you're like deep immersed into a narcissistic relationship, especially if it's in your family, like because you're so immersed into it, you can't think straight or see straight. But I just remember thinking, man, that's freaking weird. Like, when people come to her house, why does she always have to assign a job, or, they have to bring this or bring that? And it wasn't like a normal family get-together or friend get-together where, you expect someone to bring a dish or something. It was just like over the top. And it would always have to be like, oh, you have to go to this store and get these flowers, and they have to be this color. It was so strange to me. And now when I look back on it, it was just all for control. It wasn't even, about the money. It was the things she was requesting were expensive, but it was like had to be exact. And then if like, say I was supposed to pick up an alcoholic drink and I didn't get the exact one, I would never hear the end of it. And it's always to make you feel that shame, make you feel like bad about yourself. So oh, wow. I have one example of collectors. So, like narcissistic collectors. So when I was going to the university, I went to college for a lot of years. Finally got my degree in 2009. Wouldn't recommend that degree, but live and learn. And I took really good notes. I always did. And a lot of students would seek me out and say, hey, could I have a copy of your notes? I had one friend who Spanish was her first language, and I helped her, and I didn't mind it. And that happened a lot, too, with, like, foreign students. But it wasn't just foreign, it was, like, everyone. And I took great pride in it. It was something like, I don't know, it's just this thing with me. And so I took notes for this guy. He was Persian, or, like, from the, what do you call it, the Arabian or the Persian countries, Middle East. And I was very courteous. I didn't charge him or anything. Let him take my notes and go make copies. And then I remember at the end of the semester, there was a reason, like, I just said hi to him or something after I'd helped him with all these, I don't remember what class it was. And he totally ignored me. So, of course, before I knew what narcissism was. But it's like he was a collector. So he collected, I was a person in his collection to get him notes so he could pass and do well in that class. So, more than likely, he had that everywhere, where he went. And extremely parasitic. One narcissist might have a collection of people, one person she can call to give her rides certain places, one person she can call to babysit for free with no notice, one person she can call as a booty call because she's cheating on her husband, one friend that like just allows her to kind of mistreat her and will let her tell her where to go, what to do without, not a lot of fighting back. Like a person with less boundaries. Like that one friend that'll always come to every party or do everything she wants. So they're really good at it. I happen to think that a lot of the people that we see, not just celebrities, and I'm kind of rough on some of these celebrities, but a lot of celebrities that are what we would call like really famous or really successful, and they collect people like a paper cup. They use the paper cup to drink whatever they need, and boom, throw that paper cup away right away when they don't need them anymore. So and depending on what type of narcissist it is, that's going to change what it is they collect or how they do it. And some narcissists, like any others, are extremely intelligent and some are just mediocre. But the one thing that they do have in common is they are very good at manipulating people. Now, if you get a narcissist that's far more intelligent, man, that's some Machiavellian shit there, man. Go check out Machiavellianism or the Dark Triad. Took me years to understand it, and then I had run into someone who was like that, and it was what do you call that? Like bone chilling, like made my blood run cold or something. It was really freaky, creepy. Those types, man, I would venture to say that the Machiavellian type are far more intelligent. So the level of their manipulation is so fine-tuned, under the radar, finessed. And meanwhile, they are manipulating everyone around them. And they're so good at it that nobody knows they're being manipulated. Like, of course, that's true with all narcissism, but I mean, they will manipulate these people and they'll be freaking happy as hell about it. And they'll say, don't talk about so-and-so. Now, man, they collect like nothing I never seen in my life. It's something you could put in a scary movie, seriously. Trying to think of another example. Let's just say you had a really successful, what we call charismatic football coach. And of course, they don't get there from nothing. But they tend to be like a hugely malignant narcissist. But the way that they got where they did get is that they charm people, they finesse people, and they love bomb over the top to get people to bend over backwards to help them. And it's always, a lot of times it's at that person's expense. And they collect people. I mean, really, you think about the last 3 years of a lot of the news stories that are going on around, and typical narcissistic stories. And the more diabolical and evil, I think that goes into malignant narcissism and sociopathy. Psychopaths, a whole different story. Those are the ones you like hear news headlines across the world. But it's hard for me to explain this, but I would venture to say people, the narcissists that are better at collecting are extremely intelligent, because and it's really unfortunate because they don't have like the part of their brain that, I don't know, I forget what it is, the part of the brain that is responsible for empathy. They don't have it. A lot of them are really good at pretending they do, but they really don't have it. But their minds work beautifully. And unfortunately, the way their minds work is they design a life that is self-serving and mostly beneficial for themselves. They might give a little benefit to other people if it's going to serve them. So I think that's where I'm going to end it. But it's just really good information to think about. And if you so choose, you can subscribe, hit the like button. Thank you, everyone, and I hope that you all have a good day or a good night wherever you are.